Welcome to another dive into the shadowy corners of true crime. Tonight, we're exploring one of the most haunting mysteries in American history. A killer who taunted police, confounded cryptographers, and terrified an entire region. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer, a name synonymous with terror, puzzles, and the ultimate question: who was he? Our story begins in Northern California in the late 1960s, a time of social upheaval, free love, and counterculture. But amidst this era of change, a series of brutal murders shocked the region and gave rise to a chilling legend. The Zodiac Killer is believed to have committed at least 5 murders between December 1968 and October 1969, though he claimed responsibility for many more. His crimes were marked not just by their brutality, but by the bizarre and taunting way he communicated with the public and law enforcement. Through cryptic letters, ciphers, and threats, he ensured his name would never be forgotten. The Zodiac's first confirmed attack occurred on December 20th, 1968, on a quiet, secluded road in Benicia, California. On that cold December night, teenagers Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday were parked on a lover's lane at Lake Herman Road. It was a typical date night for the high school sweethearts, but it would be their last. A car approached and parked nearby. The driver exited, walked toward their vehicle, and fired shots at close range. David was shot in the head, and Betty Lou was gunned down as she tried to flee. Both were killed instantly. The crime scene was chilling, but police found little evidence. No fingerprints, no witnesses. This was the beginning of the Zodiac's reign of terror. 7 months later, the Zodiac struck again, this time in Vallejo. On July 4th, 1969, Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau were sitting in a parked car at Blue Rock Springs Park. As they talked, a car pulled up behind them. The driver exited, walked to their vehicle, and fired a series of gunshots. Michael survived the attack and later described the shooter as a heavy-set man in his late 20s or early 30s with a round face. Darlene, however, died from her injuries. The Vallejo attack marked the Zodiac's first direct contact with law enforcement, and soon after, the taunting began. In the weeks following the Vallejo attack, the San Francisco Chronicle, the San Francisco Examiner, and the Vallejo Times-Herald received identical letters from someone claiming responsibility for both the Lake Herman Road and Blue Rock Springs murders. Each letter contained a part of a cryptogram that, when combined, formed a puzzle. The killer demanded that the newspapers publish the ciphers on their front pages, or he would kill again. The letters were signed with a bizarre symbol, a crosshairs-like circle, and a chilling name: Zodiac. The first cipher, now known as the 408 Cipher, was cracked by a couple just days after its publication. The solution revealed a disturbing message: "I like killing people because it is so much fun." Yet, despite this breakthrough, the killer's identity remained a mystery. One of the Zodiac's most infamous attacks occurred on September 27, 1969, at Lake Berryessa. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were enjoying a quiet afternoon by the lake when a man approached them wearing a hooded costume adorned with his signature crosshairs symbol. The killer tied up the couple and stabbed them repeatedly. Brian survived and later described the harrowing encounter, but Cecilia succumbed to her injuries. Before leaving, the Zodiac scrawled a message on Brian's car door, detailing the time of the attack and signing it with his symbol. The Lake Berryessa attack was different from the others. The Zodiac showed himself to his victims and left physical evidence behind. Yet, even with these clues, investigators were unable to identify him. The Zodiac's next confirmed murder took place in the heart of San Francisco. On October 11, 1969, cab driver Paul Stein was shot in the head by a passenger in the city's upscale Presidio Heights neighborhood. Unlike previous attacks, this one seemed more calculated and urban. The Zodiac took a piece of Stein's bloodied shirt and sent it to the San Francisco Chronicle, along with another taunting letter. In it, he threatened to attack a school bus, writing, "I am waiting for a good bus full of kids." This threat sent shockwaves through the community, leading to heightened security across the region. Despite the Zodiac's taunts and the significant media attention, police struggled to identify the killer. Detectives in multiple jurisdictions worked tirelessly, following hundreds of leads and interviewing potential suspects. Among the most prominent suspects was Arthur Lee Allen, a man who matched many aspects of the Zodiac's profile. Allen owned a Zodiac brand watch, used phrases similar to those in the killer's letters, and was linked to locations near the crimes. However, DNA tests and handwriting analysis failed to conclusively tie him to the murders. Over the years, amateur sleuths, journalists, and law enforcement officials proposed other suspects, but none were definitively proven to be the Zodiac. The Zodiac's ciphers remain a key element of the case. While the 408 cipher was solved, others, like the infamous 340 cipher, remained undeciphered for decades. In 2020, a team of cryptographers finally cracked the 340 cipher, which revealed another chilling message. I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise. Yet even with these breakthroughs, the ciphers provided no clues to his identity. The Zodiac seemed to relish in his ability to outsmart investigators, leaving just enough breadcrumbs to keep his name in the headlines while maintaining his anonymity. Over the decades, countless theories have emerged about the Zodiac's identity. Some believe he was a lone killer, a man with a twisted desire for attention and control. Others speculate he was part of a larger conspiracy, or even multiple individuals working together. What makes the Zodiac case so enduring is not just the brutality of the murders, but the layers of mystery surrounding them. His cryptic messages, his ability to evade capture, and his apparent need for recognition make him one of the most fascinating and terrifying figures in criminal history. To this day, the Zodiac's identity remains unknown. Despite advances in forensic technology, including DNA analysis and digital investigations, no definitive answers have been found. The case continues to captivate true crime enthusiasts and amateur detectives who scour old evidence for new clues. The Zodiac Killer's story is one of fear, intrigue, and unanswered questions. It's a reminder of the darkness that can exist in the shadows and the terrifying reality that some of the most infamous crimes in history may never be solved. The Zodiac Killer has become a symbol of the unknown, a figure who struck fear into the heart of California and left a legacy of terror that lingers to this day. His name remains etched in history, not for his identity, but for his ability to elude justice. Thank you for joining me on this journey through one of the darkest chapters in true crime. Until next time, stay curious and stay vigilant.